Hi everyone. So I'm back. Sorry. Oh, I loved movies, and God always speaks to me through movies. But oh my goodness, today has been amazing. Um, so I woke up this morning, and I had a dream, and I had a dream about my ex-husband, and this dream was that he was coming back again. And I'm like, no, I already had this conversation. I don't want to, you know, keep hashing over this same thing. And then on my way to work, God showed me two exes. And I was like, there's two exes? I only have one ex-husband. I'm like, I don't understand who the other ex could be. It is someone that I guess would be considered I was in a relationship with, even though I didn't consider it a relationship. And there's two potentials, and both start with the name J. One of them is going to come back and is going to try and soothsayer me into reconnecting with them, into rehashing old things from the past, old behaviors, old attitudes. Or it could even be my ex-husband trying to make a turnaround, because he didn't. When I called him, when I messaged him, and he came into the store, I never followed up with him. And he's not the kind of guy to let something go. And if he puts his mind to something, he doesn't stop until he accomplishes his goal. That said, he doesn't know the Diana he's about to meet. Because the old Diana, the people-pleasing Diana, the I'll give you everything you want because I can't say no to you, Diana, is gone. There is no one like her left within me. Because that is why I had to go the way I had to go. Because God isn't going to allow the past to remain within me, especially when He's moving me forward. Okay. So, I get to work. I got to work early. I got to work before the opening manager got to work. And when I was on the bus, sorry guys, I just ate. And I have a piece of chicken stuck in my teeth. Okay. And it was irritating me. So when I was on the bus, I was kind of laying back, just kind of enjoying the peace. And it has been like, it's a peace that unless you feel it, you can't explain it. It's like you're in a calm place. You're in a position of calm. There's no waves. There's nothing pushing you or pulling you. There's no trying to figure out what the next step is because you're just okay. And so I had my head back and I was just kind of just not dozing off, but just talking to God. I was talking to God about you, Moses, and asking him what it is that God was trying to tell you so that you could understand what to do. And he made me realize that you don't have double-mindedness. That is Lucifer trying to manipulate you into thinking that you're hot and cold and this and that, and you're pulling yourself in and out of agreement with God. And what God said to me is overthinking. And this is how he told me this. Because he showed me to go to McDonald's by the 7-Eleven, which is where I put cash into my Cash App. And I was like, Father, I don't want to get off the bus and then have to get back on the bus. And then I'd rather just go all the way to work and just forgo going to McDonald's. I thought he wanted me to go to that McDonald's. When I get to work, God is pushing me to go to McDonald's. And so I'm looking at the path to get to McDonald's, and there's no clear path. And so I'm like, no, I don't want to go because look at it. I have to walk through the parking lot. And I have to walk all the way over there. Look, there's the McDonald's way over there. And suddenly, my boss shows up. And I was like, oh crap, he's here. And I'm not hiding. He knows I get there early. But this is like super, super early. Because I'm there before the 9 a.m. person is there. I got there at 8 o'clock in the morning. He was late. He didn't show up no, I got there at 8:50 in the morning, and he was late. He was running behind because he should have already been there. So I see him go into the store, unlock the door, go into the store, and, do his thing. I waited for a little bit, and then I walked straight through, and I kept walking. And God and I were still having a conversation about going and getting something to eat at McDonald's. And I'm like, but this place is closer. And he says, but I want you to go to McDonald's. And I said, okay. And then he said, stop overthinking and go do what I asked. And I said, okay. And I did. And then when I came into agreement with God about the direction he wanted me to go, the path to McDonald's was clear. What he is telling you is that you need to slow down. Because he's got you doing so many things, you think you have to do all of those things at the same time. And because of that, you're overthinking and you're feeling like a failure. And so Lucifer is using that emotion, using that state of mind to confuse you even more and keep you stuck where you are. And it's funny because I got that sense when I started reading your comment about, oh, you made a video about you made a comment about the homeless man, and I made a video, and God is like, be still. And I'm going, huh? What do I need to be still about? And then this is how he had me walk this way so that I could tell you to stop overthinking. You hear him just fine. He wants you to make a list of all the things that he has asked you to do. And he wants you to take the least amount of the things, the least steps, the most mundane thing, and finish that. And as you finish these things, you're going to start to feel accomplishment. You're going to start to see his revelations. You're going to start to see him moving in your life. Because you're not completing any of the things that he's got you doing. You're basically doing this number, juggling. And you're not really paying attention to the signals and the clarifications and the revelations and all of the other pieces that come with what you're doing. So he wants you to slow down, and he wants you to be more specific about how you're thinking about the things that he has asked you to do. And he will start to lead you into finishing one after the other. And eventually you're going to get so fast at getting them done that you're going to turn around. You're going to be like, how did I finish all that when I couldn't even finish one thing because I was doing all these other things? Okay. And then, so finally I go to the McDonald's, and the manager, because God doesn't lead me to do the kiosk with your card. He goes, no, I need you to talk to a person. So I went and I stood there. The lady in front of me had ordered something and they made it wrong, so he wasn't going to charge her for the coffee that she wanted to buy. But she left her money. And he's like, whatever. And then he looks at me. And so God is now having me wear a hat. Okay? And I don't wear a hat at work because it's for the people that are up front serving customers over the register. They're not allowed to wear a hat because it's not part of the uniform for the counter people. It's part of the uniform for the people in the back because of health code and all that good stuff, making sure that hair doesn't fall into the food. So I've never worn a hat while at work. And this man looks at me and he goes, you work at Barrows, don't you? And I'm like, yeah, I work there. And he goes, I thought so. And he goes, what do you want to order? And I said, oh, I want 2 of the $5 egg and sausage McGriddles, because that's, God said, I want you to buy 2 of them because you're going to have one today and you're going to have one tomorrow. I'm like, okay. And so then I say, can I get a Coke? Because I wanted a soda with my food. I didn't want a coffee. I was coffeeed out. And he tells me the total. But I didn't think about the amount. I gave him a $10 bill because I thought, okay, it's going to be $8 and some change. And then he gave me $8 and some change back. And I was like, wait. And then I looked at my receipt, and it only had the soda on there. And I heard him go to the back and say, hey, I make 2 sausage and egg McGriddles with cheese for her, and let me know when they're ready. And they did. They made them, and then he goes, here you go. And I'm like, thank you. And so I'm sitting there, because God's like, go ahead and eat your food. I'm like, okay. And then as I was walking by this table, God goes, pick up that change. And I'm like, Father, I don't even know if somebody left it there and they're coming back to that table. And he said, they're not. That money was left for you. And I was like, okay, I'll tell you what, Father. If by the time I'm ready to leave, that money is still there, I will pick it up. This lady came by the table and went to try and grab it, and she ended up moving away from it. What is for you, and God will not allow anyone to take it away from you. Okay, so I'm sitting there eating my one sandwich because after like 3/4 of it, I got full. Like I was full. And so I went to put it down and just kind of let myself, breathe a little bit and see if I really was full or if I could eat the rest of it. And I saw the manager asking everybody, saying, hey, I've got a oatmeal and a coffee. Do you want it? And then people are like, no. And then he comes to me and he goes, I've got an oatmeal and a coffee. Do you want it? Yeah, I'll take it. I'm like, Father, I came here and thinking that I was going to be spending money, and instead you're giving me food for free. And he goes, because you were obedient. I was able to have him bless you with the beginning of your blessings. And I was like, oh. Now, he wanted me to go to a hot dog place tonight. And I knew that that meant that there was going to be another blessing there. But I've been at work all day. I've been on my feet for close to 10 hours. It's been like 9 hours. And I have to get up early in the morning. I have to get up at 5 to be at the bus stop, to be able to make the bus, to be able to get to work, so that I can make the 9 o'clock start time. And I'm just so tired. And God knows I'm tired. So he's lenient with me in some of the things that I don't do, because he knows it'll come back around. He'll bring it back around, because he's going to give me the opportunity to enjoy the blessings. And sometimes it's not for that moment, because I don't get a real nudge to stop. So, okay, let me start my day. So I start my way to the store, following the path that I took to get there, and now I'm going back the same way. And then he goes, go into 99-cent store and look to see if they have any headsets. I was like, headsets? And I remembered that he had sent me an email, and it said Jesus something, I can't remember the last name. And it said, your order for a wireless microphone, a gaming microphone, which is one of the, expensive ones, like $600, has been approved and is on its way. And I was like, oh my goodness, Father, what are you going to give me? Okay, so I'm looking at these headsets, and on one of them, it said, it was like a regular run-of-the-mill brand. It wasn't a name brand. But the day before, when I was at Walmart, he had me go look at those headsets. And one of the headsets was like the one I had before all of this started. I had 2 of them because one of them broke, so I ended up buying a second pair. My son's dog tore it up, and I asked him to replace it. He's like, I ain't got the money for it. And I'm like, fine, whatever. I'll just replace it myself. And so I did. I bought a new one, and it's the brand Skullcandy. And I love those headsets because it was like surround sound, and it had the speaker, so I could use it as a microphone. But I could hear clearly in that headset. And so I'm seeing these things, and then I say, okay, and then, I bought 3 Red Bulls, and I went to work. And I had already bought 3 Red Bulls for home, but God had me take 1 for the road so that I could drink it while I'm on the bus. But it didn't do the trick. I was still falling asleep. So when I get to work, my boss sees that I bought Red Bulls because I'm putting them in the refrigerator. And I walk around the corner with 2 Red Bulls, and I was putting them into a cup. And he goes, hey, come here. And I'm like, what did I do? And he goes, do you see that? Don't buy any more. And I was like, so you stocked up for me? And he goes, no. He said, the vendors that supply our beer, our alcohol, sent in promotional girls with cases of Monster, with cases of this other, it's like a Red Bull type, but it's not Red Bull, it's another, it's a, what was it called? Raspberry Crush or something like that. It made it sound like it had ice in it, and it just, they're tasty, but they've got a lot of sugar, and I don't do sugar in any of those things because it's bad enough I'm using a energy drink let alone to have all that sugar. But I recognized the gift from God. And when I saw it, I said, thank you, Father, because God is bringing free things to me so that I don't have to spend money on the things that I need or I want. Okay, so then I'm there early, so I went and I sat down, and then, of course, Carla was upset about the cleanliness of the store. And she's talking about how none of the tables are wiped, the floor is filthy, the carpet's not vacuumed. And I thought something happened last night, and that's why this is like this. This is not, wouldn't be like this if something hadn't happened. But I didn't say anything to her about it. She goes, do you think this is a good clean? I'm like, well, no. Based on what I'm seeing, it's not. I said, I don't think this would have been a seasoned employee. I think this was a new person that didn't know what to do. And I said, I don't know, maybe the person who was supposed to close didn't close, or I don't know. I don't know, because I wasn't there, so I can't say. And she goes, well, this isn't right. And I said, well, unfortunately, Cody, this isn't good because it is a dirty store. And she goes, and look at this. Look at the drink station. It's filthy. It's got drips everywhere. I'm like, okay, well, if it's somebody who didn't know how to close, they probably didn't know to do that. And she goes, but you can go off of the list. It's not the same. It's not the same when you have someone teach you how to pull those nozzles off, how to turn off the machines, how to take things apart so that you can get them cleaned. When you don't know what you don't know, it's hard to do the things that somebody who knows what they're supposed to do can do quicker. And I'm sure by the end of the night, they were busy and they were shorthanded. And now, sorry, there was a fly that was flying around. And now they're having to leave a store less than preferably clean. So she made it known to everyone. I mean, she was just rah, 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 rah. And this is where she went with it. If I have to clean for the night crew, if I have to clean the closers, if I have to do the closers' work, then I want their tips. It's not fair that they get their tips and then I still have to clean up after them. I was like, yeah, you idolize money, all right. And I was just like, Father, I pray that you give her eyes to see and ears to hear. You soften her heart, because she doesn't understand the things that are going on. She doesn't know, and yet she's making judgments based on what she sees. Well, we started our shift, and we didn't get busy right away. And when I always do when we're not busy, I start folding boxes because we're going to need them. And it's not fair for the night crew to have to fold boxes for themselves when we're the ones that use the boxes for the morning. They make boxes at night so that we have them for the morning. The least we can do is make boxes during the day, so they have boxes for the night. So I did. I made all the larges. I made all the extra larges. I made large wing boxes. I made small wing boxes. I did all of the things that would be needed in order for them to be successful in their shift. So when Cody walked in and he saw that all of the boxes were there where they were supposed to be, he was elated. He was like, okay, we have everything we need. All we need to do is do the work. So, but let me back up. So this gentleman came in, this lady came in with some coworkers, and they ordered pizza, and they ordered beer, and they ordered this and that, and I took her order, and I took her food out, and she said to me, anybody who's wearing this hat, they can place an order on my tab. And I said, okay, no problem, I can do that. And so her girl, her coworkers started coming up, and they started ordering their drinks, and they ordered this and that, and every single person got me, and I took care of them. When I was taking care of them, Carla walked away from me, like she went somewhere else. And I was like, okay, I don't mind you leaving. I'm fine. And at the end of the day, when they were getting ready to pay their tab, Carla stepped in. She was like, I'll take care of you. And I was like, okay. It's my customer. I've been helping them from the beginning, and now you're taking over because they're paying. It'll come full circle in a little bit. So, she rings up the lady, and she gives her the receipt to sign. And as I'm talking to her, I said, hey, just don't forget to wear every 30 minutes, put on another lather of sunscreen, because, that sun, it will zap you. And she goes, oh, I know, I've had that problem before. And so we were talking, we were having a conversation, and the lady wrote in $40 on the tip side. And then she gave it to us, and then we put it in the system, and then Carla looks at me and she goes, did she seriously just give us $40? I'm like, yeah. I said, companies who are doing a team outing, I said they pay. Their idea is 25 to 30%. That's the base. When it's good. If you're not good, they're going to give you 20. They're going to give you 15. They're not going to give you 20, 25. And then, good luck. And so they left. And then, now up until this point, no one had been giving us tips. And I was kind of curious what was happening. And I was like, Father, why aren't we getting any tips? And he goes, you'll see. And so she wasn't getting any tips. I was getting the tips. He was giving them to me. Every single one of my receipts had $2, $3, $5, $10, $20. Her receipts, zero. Nothing. And then all of a sudden, when we're slow, she goes, or no, she was talking to somebody else, saying, I'm thinking about whether or not this is going to be my last week. And she goes, and I have until the end of the day to decide. And I'm like, wait, what did you just say? She goes, yeah, I have an opportunity to go work for a property management company as a leasing agent for apartments. It's owned by a family friend, or a friend of, it's owned by a friend's family. And so she was talking about, she wants to do this, pays more money. And I told her, well, eventually with the experience with that place, you could actually go somewhere else and you could end up making commission. Because I do know there are some places where the leasing agents make a commission off of the number of apartments that they rent out. And so I had no idea that she was leaving. Like, shocked me. And I looked up and I was like, this is you. This is his hand removing the people that don't like me. There is one person left, and she is hiding her true self. She's going to play ball for a little while, but God is also taking care of her, because either she's going to change her heart for real, or she will get moved out. Now remember, she wants to have Cody move out. And it's interesting because God had me do 3 interviews. The first interview was over Zoom. The second interview I thought was supposed to be over the phone, but it was supposed to be an in-person interview, so I missed that one. The third interview was in person, and I found out something today that I was like, whoa, seriously? Wow. So more to come on that. But so the whole day, going through the day, helping customers out, doing this, doing that. And it gets to the afternoon, and immediately she starts complaining and whining about going on break. So she told me, she goes, do you want to go on break? And I'm like, I don't know yet. I haven't figured it out. So she left on break, and I went to Will and I said, hey, do you want me to go on break? And he goes, if you feel like you need to take a break, you can. And I said, oh, so you don't want me to go on break? And he goes, if you feel that you need to, you can. I was like, okay. And so the girls asked me, are you going to go on break? And I said, well, Will doesn't care if I go on break, so I'm going to wait a little while. And then I went back to Will and I said, hey, just to let you know, I'm going to wait for Carla to come back, and then I'm going to go on break. Because her and I are the most senior girls on the staff. You have all these girls who are pretty new, and they're still struggling. They're still failing at things. So for both of us to be off at the same time means that there's no one there to help them if they get into a problem. And Will noticed. So then when Carla came back, I went to Will and I'm like, hey, Carla's back. I'm going to go on break. And he goes, okay. I clocked out and I went outside. And then this gentleman comes up to me and he goes, excuse me, I know you work here. I'm like, okay, I'm on break, dude. And he goes, normally I'm okay with my daughter sitting in the car when we come to pick up pizza. He said, but there is a line, and I'm worried about leaving her in the car